Parramatta have granted Clint Gutherson permission to negotiate with rival clubs. Immediately after the Eels informed their captain they were not in a position to offer him an extension. Eels coach Jason Riles, General Manager Mark O'Neill, they met with Gutherson and his agent Sammy Ayub on Thursday morning to discuss the veteran's future at the club. The Eels have subsequently given Ayub permission to begin negotiations with rival clubs immediately and not wait until November. The Dragons expressed interest in luring Gutherson to the club in 2026. I don't know why they say this, the Dragons. Like, why do we always hear this from the Dragons?
Probably, maybe Flano owes some connections back at Fox or something of the like.
I don't know. I don't know why we keep hearing this about the Dragons when there's every chance someone else will
just
just
gives Brooksy some hope. Brooksy's up and about today because he thinks Gutho's going to St George.
Very true. Very true. Corey Oates, speaking about, outside backs, retires from the National Rugby League. He finishes his career as a one-club player, 216 games in the National Rugby League for the Broncos, 121 tries. That's a big amount, isn't it, for 12 seasons at the club, which is the third most in club history. Do you want to guess who the top two are for the Broncos, Missile?
Darren Lockyer.
Yes, 122. He's second behind.
Darius Boyd.
Nope.
Justin Hodges.
Go back to that 90s team.
Oh, Michael Hancock.
Nope. Scored one of the great grand
Steve
finals.
Renouf.
Steve Renouf. Yep. If you run off Renouf often enough, there'll be tries. So he has the most with 142. So that record's going to be safe.
He's only 29.
Yeah, I know, but he actually came out and said, about he didn't want to be that player who hangs on a bit too long. And great career. He said this. He said, I'm going to play with some of the greatest players ever in the game, and that is the biggest thing for me. Playing Origin for Queensland, playing for the Broncos, I still have to pinch myself that it all happened for real. But when I got those opportunities, I took them. I've made some great friends and some great memories. Rugby League has given me everything, and I will be forever grateful. Well said, Corey Oates. Kobe Hetherington, who we thought was going to be leaving the Broncos. Now, after speculation that he could leave the Broncos, Hetherington spoke to Pat and Corey on SENQ this morning before flying at the PNG as part of the Prime Minister's 13 side. Here's what he had to say about the return to sender, so to speak.
At this stage, I'm staying at Broncos, so I was contracted till next year anyway. So, at this stage I am. I love the Broncos. Been here for 7 years, so it would be extremely hard to leave the Broncos. But at the end of the day, I want to be a starting player. So, it just all happened so quickly, pretty much. Just got to have a big preseason and just I guess play some good footy and. The biggest thing is have a good pre-season, come in fit and ready to go, and whatever Madge wants to do, I'll run with it. But it is what it is.
Alrighty, there's Kobe Hetherington, good young player. Madge wants to keep him. Selwyn Cobbo and Katoni Staggs dilemma. Now, we spoke about this yesterday, but Peter Bedell on SENQ Breakfast has said that the Broncos are going to have to make a decision between Selwyn Cobbo and Katoni Staggs. The obvious question there, Missile, is who would you keep if you got to choose one?
Selwyn Cobbo by the length of the straight.
Really?
Yeah. The upside on Selwyn, he could potentially be a generational outside back. Fullback, wing, centre, whichever he chooses to. He just needs to apply himself a bit better, I would suggest. And I think Madge can get the best out of him. I think he's going to be an absolute star. Love Selwyn Cobbo. What about you?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'd flip a coin. I think they've both got great talent, but I understand what you're saying. A bit more news coming through the Daily Telegraph when it comes to Gutho. The Dragons are looming as a potential destination for Gutherson. The Eels have so far indicated they would not release him before his deal ends. So what they're saying is, what we're sort of hearing is that he's already free to negotiate at this point for 2026. But as you said at the start of the show, Missile, we know how these plays out. Don't be surprised that if the club who's interested for 2026.
Well, I just don't think you want surely if they've told him he can leave, he's not going to be club captain, right?
Yep.
Do you want a former club captain kicking stones for a season knowing that he's leaving next year and that he's unwanted by the coach and the club as a whole?
Yeah. No, that's
not good for morale.
It's not. Rolls wants to see how Gutherson plays in his new roaming role. Okay, well, maybe he is staying at Parramatta for 2025. We'll find out what happens there. Some more news for the Seagulls. And this was sort of a loose rumour, which looks as though it's going to be confirmed. New Seagulls signing Jazz Tavanga. He's set to bring plenty of experience and added toughness to the Manly pack in 2025. He's got a one-year deal. He's been at the Warriors for the best part of 8 years. Anthony Seibold said this on Jazz, has played in finals and has a lot of experience over there in New Zealand. He has also represented Samoa. He brings that grit and toughness to what we've already got here. We feel like he'll be a great addition to the group. Yeah, he's a tough bugger. There's no doubt about that. There is no doubt about that. Have your say, 1300 01 1170. After the news, we'll chat some dishies with our man Luke Gatehouse. The New South Wales coaching candidates dwindle as Panthers coach Ivan Cleary rules himself out of the job. So Cleary, who's just won obviously a 4th straight title for the Panthers coach, will join. This is through the Daily Telegraph. Phil Gould, Ricky Stewart, Brad Fittler, Craig Bellamy, John Cartwright, Andrew Johns as possible coaches to withdraw their candidacy. New South Wales Rugby League directors will accelerate the search at their next board meeting in late October, and it's hoped the new coach could be announced by late November or early December. Ivan's having success here and is creating history. He's a chance of chasing more history, so why would he muck that up? That's the last thing he'd want to do, Panthers Group Chief Executive Brian Fletcher says. Okay, with all those people ruled out, is there anyone that you want to see, Miss Hole?
Well, Scope and I came up with a plan,
Yep.
So here it is for you. This is a treble. This is a coaching treble, a la Slater, Smith and Thurston when he first came in. My treble is Cordner, Jackson and Ennis.
Okay.
All 3 played together for New South Wales. All 3 are in coaching roles or have consulted in coaching capacity at some point. Josh Jackson just led the Bulldogs to their 2nd Jersey Flag premiership. Boyd Cordner working with the Roosters. Michael Ennis has done bits and pieces. That's the only solution that I can come up with that is feasible. I look at a lot of those other names and I struggle to find one that stands out from the pack.
There's some good coaches sidelined who, Holbrook, McGregor, the list goes on there. I mean, Steve Price, he's a mate of mine, but he was with Madge when he was his 2IC when they beat New Zealand 30 blot. There's some good ones out there. Danny Badiris. What about Bobcat Ryan? So he's been the New South Wales 20s coach for a while and just keeps winning. So they know him. They absolutely know him. He knows pressure. His first ever game as a captain, he won the premiership. So, as you would know, 2004 with the Dogs.
Yeah.
So you just never know. I don't know, Jeff Tuvey or the list is getting thin now.
It's getting real thin. Yeah, that's why Scope and I came up with that combo because we thought it ticked a few boxes. Ex-Origin legends in the coaching game, not coaching current NRL sides. When you put those 3 as your criteria, which most people do, obviously Madge wasn't an ex-New South Wales great, but he had premierships on the board, and you're not going to find a premiership coach most likely now. The list is even thinner.
Oh, well, you know what? Matty King's been in the frame. Matty King's been an assistant coach.
Yeah, you could throw him in with that group.
He's got to be in the mix, I would think. Laurie Daly, of course, who used to do it. He actually did quite well, Loz. He was 101 for Costas.